I'm just the opposite. My mother once said to me, Dottie, I'm amazed that you go to the bathroom by yourself. I always feel it's more fun to have a group around. And this morning, I'm so excited to hear what Dr. Ayleen has to say about why should we do it alone. And giving you some ideas of what it means to know that there's more than just you. There's spirit, there's people, there's animals, there's the energy. So if you ever feel lonely or all alone, you can hearken back to Dr. Ayleen's sermon this morning. I would like to welcome our associate pastor and also the vice president of our parent church, UCM, our wonderful Dr. Ayleen.
Dr. Ayleen.
Dr. Ayleen. There's a doctor in the house. A couple of them, actually.
I honor your path. I drink from your well. I bring an unprotected heart to our meeting place. I hold no cherished outcomes. I will not negotiate by withholding. I am not subject to disappointment. That is the Druid vow of friendship.
Ooh, could we hear that again?
I honor your path.
I honor your path.
I drink from your well.
I drink from your well.
I bring an unprotected heart to our meeting place.
I bring an unprotected heart to our meeting place.
Oh God. What did I say?
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Jan, what is the next one?
I'm blanking.
I'm blanking.
Isn't that weird? I'm blanking. And I just said, I'm an unprotected heart to our meeting place. I will not negotiate. No, there was the line before
Not withhold.
I hold no cherished outcomes. I will not negotiate by withholding, but then there's the line before that. Wow, you know when you get in a zone for something and then suddenly everything shifts up on you?
Yeah.
That's why I didn't do the meditation this morning.
And I couldn't do it on my own. I asked for help. And maybe that was part of the point. Is that even in the things that we feel very certain about, sometimes we need to get help. Sometimes, it's embarrassing. It's like, my God, how many times have I said that?
Yeah,
No,
right.
you have to do it from your well.
Where's
Unprotected heart to our meeting place. Yeah.
But
Anyway.
Could never say that.
But we never know when things are taken from us. When we, in that moment, we're not in control. In that moment, we are not who we think we should be. And it is in those moments that it's the most important to remember that we don't have to do it alone. You could do it alone, but why? What are the reasons to not reach out for help? And as Dottie said, we have community to help. We have spirit to help. And we have guardians to help. And the entire thing that I was going to do, I was told, nope, you're not going to do that. You're going to do something else.
Awesome.
I said, nice one. And part of it was wearing this hat. This hat was worn by someone who was in this life one of my guardians. Who honestly, I can say, it would have been a lot more difficult for me to become who I am if it were not for my teacher. And when the time came that he couldn't do it anymore, when the time came that he had to set this hat aside because his spirit was in a very bad place, then he asked for my help to take the hat up and to wear it and to step up as teacher.
You were actually right, in case you want to.
She looked it up.
I think we would like to share it.
I honor your path, I drink from your well, I bring an unprotected heart to our meeting place, I hold no cherished outcomes. That was it. Thank you. Thank you for the help.
You had it.
And sometimes help comes when we don't even ask for it. Sometimes help comes from someone who just notices that we need help, just as we notice when someone else needs help.
It's implied that
It
you need
is,
help.
it is a part of the spiritual agreement. We each have a spiritual agreement to be here. So, we're going on a field trip.
Yay!
Love field trips.
You guys are going to get to visit my guardian's room. It is the place where my guardians reside, where they hang out and wait for me to either mess up enough to where I ask for help, or to notice when I need it and just provide it under certain circumstances. And in fact, you get to meet two of my guardians. So, let's take a trip. All right, lot to do. Oh, hi. You're new. Yeah, I'm the new guy. What do I do? Oh, okay, yeah, no, don't worry, you're okay. Let's see, I'm first guardian, nice to meet you, and you are, I don't know, why am I here? Oh, okay, don't worry. It's all explained in your manual. I didn't get a manual. What do you mean you didn't get a manual? There's a Virgo, you're handling manuals. What's up? What? No more manuals? What do you mean no more manuals? The Druids say no manuals because it takes out trees. Do they understand that we are in the spirit realm and the trees aren't actually real? It's a matter of principle. God, the Druids get so uppity around festival time. Okay, it's all right. But, I mean, I don't know why I'm here. What am I here for? Well, you're a guardian. And all these others here, all these others that are gathered here, are also guardians. And don't worry, it'll be all right. Well, okay. So what do I need to know? This is why we have manuals. You'll figure it out. By the end, you'll understand. So, but I'll show you around. Okay, over here we have the spirit animals and spirit totems. Watch your fingers. You know, they're really nice, but sometimes they get a little bit feisty. So, but they take care of all of her connections with earth and with animals, and you know, and it's just really sweet. And Bear's getting a little bit feisty these days, so something must be coming up that's going to involve Bear. But that's okay, you know, they just stay over there and they enjoy themselves. Wow, okay, cool. And, and this group, these are the angels and the archangels that kind of come in and help out. And it's like, hey, Raphael, yeah, nice to see you. And, oh, that's okay, you know, you don't have to worry. It's like, well, do I have to do that? I mean, do I have to do angel stuff? No, the angels do the angel stuff. Everybody's got a job here. Don't worry about it. Well, what about those over there? They look kind of creepy. Oh, those are the shadow guardians. Shadow guardians? What do you mean shadow guardians? Well, all of the children have choice. Why? It's like, well, can't they just all do good things? Again, this is why we have a manual. No. They have choice. They have free will. It's a rule. Really? Well, what about you know who? Who? Creator. Oh, well, who do you think made the rule? The greatest gift that he gave to the children was that they have free choice. And the shadow guardians are there when that's what they choose. Wow, they look kind of dangerous. Oh, don't worry, they're all into Game of Thrones now, so they're okay. We gave them the internet. They spend all their time in the forums. Oh. But something could happen that they would choose, that she would choose shadow. Well, it could happen, but it hasn't happened in a while. Oh, so she doesn't get angry. Noobs. Yes, she gets angry. She gets outrageously angry sometimes, but it's what she chooses to do with that anger. That's when the guardians of determination come in. That's when the guardians of justice come in. And what they do is that they help her to take that anger and turn it into conviction, so she is able to make very good choices and to help out as she believes is right. Oh, okay. Wow, you got a lot of big screen TVs around here. High def. Oh man, you should see the cable guy that has to come all the way up here. But that's okay, because all of these screens show her entire life. So that way you can get caught up. Wow, she's had a heck of a life. Yeah. So why are you the first guardian? I mean, is it like promotion? Were you elected? No, I was the first. And no, you don't get my job. Anybody want my job? Didn't think so.
No.
But I was the first. When her spirit first came into existence, I was beside her. And I was given the very special assignment by Creator that I would walk beside her through all of the lifetimes that she had. And that no matter what, I would be there with her. I am the first guardian and I shall be the last. Well, what about those guys who are sleeping over there? That's not right. I mean, shouldn't they be doing something? Shh. They're not awake yet. They're not supposed to be awake. You see, a guardian will wake up when it's time for that person to change. When the child is going to grow up a little bit, the guardian wakes up so that they're ready for the next challenge that she has. Oh, okay. Tell me, do you remember yesterday? No, I don't. That's because yesterday you were sleeping. You woke up, which means that she's about to change. Something big's going to happen. And you are going to be in charge of helping her through it. Well, you know, it seems a pretty nice setup. Whoa. Look at that screen. She's upset. Something's going on. She's really stressed out. Hold my tea. Wait, where are you going? Well, I mean, she's distressed. She's upset. She's frustrated. Don't I need to go and be there? No. Why not? She didn't ask. She didn't ask? She needs to ask. She needs to be uncomfortable for a while until she remembers that she can ask for help. Well, does she forget we're here? Sometimes. Sometimes they all forget we're here. They know we're here. And when something big happens, you know, it's like, okay, that screen over there, okay, that was the car accident that she was almost in. Man, that was a really, really hairy one. But the guardian that was in charge of her already saw the film, already knew it. You see, this is how we know what she needs as opposed to what she wants, because we see where it's going. We see the future. We know what it is that she needs. And yes, she took her hands off the wheel when there was an obstruction in front of her and put her hands over her eyes. Not advisable. But her guardian was there to grab the wheel and to make sure the car stayed straight and it didn't hit the obstruction. And then, of course, to whisper in her ear, by the way, you're going 70 miles an hour down the freeway with your hands over your eyes. You might want to move your hands. But she was grateful. And in that moment, she knew that we were there. Wow, there's one. That was the night she begged to die. When her pain was so great in what she was going through. You know, you could have heard a pin drop up here that day. Because we knew she had to choose. And the help that she was begging for was not the help that she needed. She was just scared and she was tired. And we knew what she needed as opposed to what she wanted. Wow. And she changed her mind? Well, with a little help. I went to her and I whispered in her ear, but you've got to stay, because tomorrow something amazing is going to happen and you don't want to miss it. And it seemed to be what she needed to hear in that moment. Well, then she was mad at me the next day because she reached the end of the day and said, hey, nothing amazing happened. And I reminded her that her children were there. I reminded her that she saw a beautiful sunrise and a beautiful sunset. And she understood that the amazing thing that was happening was her life. She's never asked for that again. Asked not to be here. But that was a pretty hairy time. Yeah, but what if she really did want to go? Then that was her choice. Because she has free choice. And maybe that would be her destiny in that moment. But it wasn't meant to be. Because she had more to do. She still has a lot to do. Oh, okay. So we all stand up here and hang out until she needs us. Well, pretty much. Is it tough for them to learn that they need to ask for help? Well, it depends. Some of them went through a life where asking for help made them vulnerable, made them weak. They were mistreated because they asked for help. So that made it a little bit harder. Their guardians have a very difficult time because they really need to work very hard to demonstrate to that person that somebody is there. Well, but what about Creator? Where's Creator in all of this? I mean, aren't we kind of doing all the work? Sort of. But look, okay, you can see her. She's down there and she's standing in front of a whole bunch of people. We just had a little fun with her, making her forget that line. But look around her. Well, I don't see anything. Close your eyes, look with your heart. What do you see? See with your heart. Oh, wow. What's that sparkly light that's around her? That's Creator. Creator never leaves her, never leaves any of them. Creator's there with all of them, yes. But then why do they need us? Because Creator gives them free choice. Creator will lay out a banquet before them. But they have to be willing to step into the restaurant. They have to be willing to go up and choose what they want. They can choose anything they want. And we're there to help them once they make the choice. Creator never forces a choice on anyone. Creator loves them no matter what. And everybody has this. Close your eyes, look with your heart, and look at the people that are there. Oh, such beautiful lights. They're all surrounded. Do they feel it? Sometimes. Sometimes they do. And sometimes in those times when they are very scared and very alone, sometimes that's when the light shines brightest. And even they can see it. Even they feel it. But for the regular stuff, yes, we help them. And as each guardian wakes up, as each person transforms, some of those sleeping guardians aren't even meant to wake up in this life, but they may in the next, or the one after that. Many of these guardians have been here for all time, because each of us are here for all time. Well, where do guardians come from anyway? We are. Some of us were children ourselves, and changed and evolved and learned. Because that allows us to be able to understand them, because we were children once ourselves. And when we take a look at what it is that their potential is. We can see the amazing things that they can do, even though they can't see it themselves. Because everybody needs someone who can see more in you than you see in yourself. We whisper to them saying, you can do this. Or, don't even try it. Go, no. But they will listen to us. They hear us. They are never alone. So, do you like your job? I love my job. I don't know what it is right now, but I love this. This is so cool. And you know what the best part is? You know all those people that are standing out there and sitting and listening? There's guardians inside them too. They are themselves guardians. And they each have their own room full of guardians that is fashioned in the way that works for them. But there isn't a single soul that is in the whole world, in the whole of creation, that does not have someone who loves them. Everyone does. They do not have someone who will not protect them. And maybe when bad things happen, it's our job to be there and hold their hand and be there with them and say, I will grieve with you. I will hold you. I will keep you safe as you go through your pain until you can walk out the other side of it. All right. Now tell me, what do you remember? I know what my job is. I know which guardian I'm supposed to be. Good. Now so does she. She just doesn't know it yet. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. I'm not sure I want to be the one guarding her through that. You are the one who's chosen to guard her through it. It's okay. You'll do fine, because you have all of us to help you, as she has all of her community to help her. It'll be tough, but it'll be worth it. She may not think I'm doing my job right. She's not going to enjoy it. Well, as long as you know you're doing your job right, it's okay. We are all together. We are all guardians, and we are all guarded. Every single one of us is a part of creation and creator. It doesn't matter how alone you feel. That feeling is an illusion, because we are never alone. I feel much better about all this. Good, good. All you guardians, all those of you who share and help and nurture, and especially for those who learn, everyone is a student. We're all learning our way. We all have guardians that wake up inside of us and allow us to have the courage to take that step that we didn't know we could take. When I was asked to perform with a role with a lot of lines, I was certain I couldn't do it. And I noticed that every time I wanted to give up, there was something that said, you know what, you can do this. You can do this. This isn't beyond you. And I would believe that little voice. And later I realized it was one of my guardians who said, it's okay, you're a druid. Of course you can do this. What do you think a bard is?
Long story.
And so I stepped up into it. Our guardians come through for us at that time when we're not sure if we can do it. When there's that part of us saying, you can't do this. You can't let go of this pain. It's not safe to let go of pain. And it's that guardian that is telling you, it's okay. You learned everything you needed to learn from it. When we are getting ready to do anything from get up and speak publicly, to to maybe taking a responsibility for someone, and we don't think we can do it. We have the ability to do it, because it would not have been brought to us if we couldn't. Everything we deal with, and that's why I go with the theory, life is fun until it isn't, and it sucks until it doesn't. Because it's meant to be a cycle. It is meant to be a part of a continuum, you know, as summer turns into fall, and fall turns into winter, and winter into spring. Everything about us is in a state of change. And as we are able to step up to the challenges of change itself, because change itself, I've always found that the anticipation of change is far worse than the change itself. Generally, I work up such a story in my head about what I'm going to have to do that when I finally have to do it, it turns out it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And, I mean, worst case scenario, I'm not going to be good at it. And in that case, I know that I can ask for help. I know that there are people here, there are people in here who I could call up and say, I need help, and I don't even have to say why, and they would say, where do you need me? How can I help you? What can I do for you? I know that. And even though I may not make that call, I know in my heart that I can. And that makes the difference. That gives me strength. That if I walked out there and my tire was flat, I know I could come in here and say, hey, my tire's flat, and there'd be people like, hey, come on, we're gonna take care of it for you. Part of being able to ask for help is trusting that it's going to be there. Trusting that it will be there for you without judgment, without, well, you know, if you had taken better care of this, then, you know, this would not be a problem, and da-da-da, you know, and all the stories and all the attachments to it. The help is just there saying, what do you need? What do you need? Anything. You know, call me up, it's okay. Reach out to me. And it doesn't have to be anything that is devaluing to you. All it is help. The same help that you would give to someone else. You know, I spend a lot of time working with people and listening to people and helping people and a lot of that, and I love it. And sometimes I forget that other people can enjoy that too. That by allowing and giving the gift of accepting help, it is such a wonderful thing, because you see someone's face light up saying, oh my gosh, I helped them. And that is a wonderful thing. That is an amazing gift to give. If you feel that it's not safe to ask for help, then the question would be why? Why do I feel I have to carry this? Now, there are things that we do have to carry, you know, and there are those times when it's like, well, okay, you're going to have to just, you know, buckle up, because there are those places that we are meant to work on our own. But that doesn't mean that if I'm going into a spiritual work where, you know, I'm going to be up on a mountain for 4 days with no food and no water and you know, I have to be in that prayer, I'm going to have people who are praying for me, that are surrounding me with their love and their affection and their support on an energetic level. Yes, I have to do certain things, you know, in one way on my own, but I know I do nothing alone, because I can do nothing alone. I could not have done what I do in a vacuum. I couldn't have become a chiropractor just like, oh, I think I'm a chiropractor. No, I need people to teach me. I needed people to show me what it is that I was going to do. I needed the support of my family to go through a very difficult program. You know, I haven't done anything alone. When I first started studying, you know, indigenous practices and embracing it, I couldn't have done that alone, because you need teachers. You need community who sort of know what's going on. It's like, wow, you know, my energy's feeling real wonky. No problem. We know what's wrong. Here, you know, we're going to clear you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and here's a bath, and, you know, and all of that stuff. I'd be willing to bet that every single person here has a way to shake off that hard energy. And they'd be willing to share that with me. Hey, you know what? What works for me is, you know, you go take a salt bath and you'll be fine. Here, we're going to burn some sage for you. You know, I couldn't do the work without the sage, without the plants. Mm-hmm. We consider that nature around us is constantly doing work with us, providing us with plant medicines, providing us with a breeze when we feel overheated, providing us with the rain when when we need to nourish the ground. All of the universe is working in alignment with us. It works to protect us. We do nothing alone. We do nothing in a vacuum. And if we want to, the question is it ego, 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 ego? Is it, no, I'm going to do this by myself. You know, I'm in charge of everything, so I'm going to do this. I remember when, I was, Jan, who is so amazing at helping me with all kinds of things. And, when we were doing the ministerial class, and it's like, where's this paper? Where's this paper? I don't know. It's like, it's there, it's this, what's happened? And then I realized, why on earth am I trying to do something that Jan not only could do, but offered to do? She said, why don't you let me take care of the paperwork? And I will take care of the logistics, and, we'll make sure, and I'll talk to the people if something's missing and all of that. And my first reaction was, oh, I don't want you to bother. And my second reaction was ego. Well, I don't want anybody to know that I can't handle all of it. Guess what? If you think that you don't want anybody to know you can't handle all of it, the secret's out. They already know. It's okay to admit that we don't know how to do everything. None of us were meant to be able to do everything. And when you have someone who is knowledgeable in an area, who is able to help, who is willing to help, it's a bit foolish not to take them up on it. To say, you know what, I really cannot, do 18 different things at once. I tap out at 15 different things at once. But those other 3 things, maybe I can actually have somebody else work on. And I think that's my favorite part of being a teacher. Because I know that one day my students will surpass me. And that makes me very happy. It makes me happy to understand and to know that one day my students will do things that I never even dreamed of. And that they will achieve a level of themness, of theyness, of their own personal sense of self. And the fact that I had something to do with that, man, it doesn't get better than that. And when I see them struggle through things, and I see them, trying not to let me as their teacher know that they messed up on something. Maybe they didn't work in a way that they shouldn't have done, and they wonked themselves out. It's like, okay, so what have we learned? And did you call for help? Did you ask for help? I always ask them that. And it's like, well, but I didn't want to bother you. It's like, forget me. Did you ask for help from your guardians? Did you ask for help from Spirit? I forgot. Well, next time remember. Because Spirit surrounds you. It's waiting for you to ask for help. And with the exception of when you put your hands over your eyes because you're afraid that, oh my gosh, it was a thing of manure that fell crossways, a bag of manure that fell crossways. I had been only driving for 3 months. There was a car behind me, a car to my left, a car to my right, and there was a truck carrying manure bags. One fell down and just like exploded in this cloud of manure. And just as I was driving into the cloud, I saw that there was a bag that was laying crosswise on the freeway. I couldn't think of any way to turn. I couldn't, it's like, if I go in any direction, I'm hitting something. So I took my hands off the wheel and I put them over my eyes. And after a few seconds, I heard this little voice saying, you do realize you're going 70 miles an hour with your hands over your eyes on the freeway. And I brought my hands down and I grabbed the wheel. And my car, a little Datsun 210, not a lot of width on those wheels, it went exactly over the bag, all four wheels past it without touching it.
Yay!
Wow.
And I don't know how it happened. At the time it was like, oh God, oh God, oh God, which can sometimes be a truly powerful prayer. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
But it was odd because in that, there was like a split second there that it was all very surreal and I wasn't afraid. I don't know why I wasn't afraid in that moment. Or at least then I didn't understand why I wasn't afraid. But it was as if everything were still. And somehow I knew that it would be fine. And it was. Hey, you know that one. And then the night that I asked God to take my life, that I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. Life was too hard. And I begged. I mean begged. If you ever had an ounce of love for me at all, you will take my life, and I will not wake up. And that's when that little voice came in, but you have to wake up, because something amazing is going to happen tomorrow, and you don't want to miss it. That little whisper was enough to save me. That little whisper was enough to give me hope. And that's what we do for each other when we help each other. We give each other hope. Yeah, we can make it through this together. Just ask. I grew up Catholic, and there was a song, my favorite song was Seek Ye First the Kingdom of the Lord. And, you know, it was a very sweet song. And I always thought it meant, well, you know, you're supposed to look to that first. Later on, I realized to me, it meant, no, you need to seek it first. Look for it. You know, wander around, see if you can find it. But you have to do something to try to find it. You have to reach out. You have to hold your hand out for someone to take it. You can't be afraid to hold your hand out. Just because you think no one's going to take it. Someone will take your hand. Someone will walk that road with you. Someone will be there for you in the spiritual realm and in this physical realm, because each and every one of us are guardians. Each and every one of us are there. We have ancestors behind us and descendants ahead of us who watch over us. Anybody who has ever been my student knows that I stand with them. And I will always stand with them. If they have a problem, they come and find me. I do a Reiki attunement. That person, I bind myself to that person, that if they need me, I am there for them. We all have someone in our life who we've made that promise to. That no matter what, I will be there for you. That is why we never have to do it alone. And one day, when that person promises somebody else that they will stand with them, it sets up a beautiful legacy. So, you can do it alone, but why? Because it's an illusion that you're doing it alone. You have a whole host of spirits and angels and animal totems who are there to support you in whatever you choose. You can't choose wrong. as long as you remember that you're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayleen. And that you can absolutely ask people, what happens if they say no?
Ask somebody else.
There's somebody else. I want to share a story. When Christmas was coming, and I always made Christmas cookies. I love making Christmas cookies. How many in here love making Christmas cookies? You know, you get them, and you can put a little frosting on it. And I owned a metaphysical bookstore. I was working full-time at Lockheed, and I had 2 foster kids. And I wanted to make Christmas cookies, and I realized I just am not going to be able to. I don't have the bandwidth. But I wanted to give, you know, it's so nice to give out those platters of Christmas cookies to all of your friends that don't bake. And a woman came in to see me, and she was really having a hard time. She didn't have any money for Christmas, and she had 4 little girls. And the little girls were 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they really were looking forward to Christmas. And I said, well, what do you do? And she said, you know, the thing I really love to do is bake. I said, I will pay you $1.50 a dozen. This is a long time ago. If you will make me Christmas cookies. She said, really? I said, yeah. And she said, then what are we going to do? I said, we're going to give plates of Christmas cookies to people, and it's going to be saying, it says on it, created by Dottie Boone, made by Dolores. And she said, I like that. And that year, everybody, I got a note from saying, thank you so much for the cookies, Dottie, and thank Dolores, too. So what happened? I let go of my ego, and that's what our wonderful Dr. Ayleen's saying. Let go of your ego and ask people if they could help you, because it's amazing the gifts that everybody around you has. Ask them to help you heal, ask them, you know, whatever you're going through. You don't know, in this congregation, you have people that can do so many different things. How many people here are healers? How many of you?
Everybody raise your hand.
I think so.
Everybody raise your hand.
How many of you in here love life?
Oh, yeah.
And how many of you in here are willing to help? Yeah. And it's that loving life. Because don't ask somebody, could you help me get through this, who is just sitting there going, I hate life, I don't know what I'm doing here, rah, 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 rah. But surround yourself with people who love to help support themselves and also love to help support you. And you'll know them. You know how? They've got all that sparkling energy around them. You start looking at people with your heart, and it really does work. And we're going to ask you today to not only look with your heart, but look with your money, because we're going to pass the basket for donations. And the song that we are singing is going to start out with a wonderful saying. Giving to the ministry from which we receive our spiritual support and nurturing is an affirmation and consciousness of the truth that the Spirit is the prospering power enriching every area of our lives.